Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. I got my guy G-Sportz here. G, how you feeling, man? How's the playoffs treating you, dude? State championships, Louisiana football, Saturday's probably one of the biggest games that everybody's talking about. Edna Carr, St. Aug. How are we feeling? Let's get a brief reaction to everything.
Yeah, I was in the dome last night. Got a chance to run it with Coach O. He was in the
Okay.
building. Yep. Got to talk some ball with him and what he thought about the Lane Kiffin High and high school football. So that was good to have that conversation with him. But the games was pretty good. Calvary Baptist and Dunham was a really good game. Up into the fourth quarter, where Dunham kind of pulled away. Elijah Haven, who was the number one quarterback in the country for 2027, got the MVP honors. But I do think the receiver Jarvis Washington should have got the MVP. Although Elijah had a good game, I thought Jarvis Washington was clearly um, had the best performance in the state championship at receiver. I want to say he had over 100 yards. I think he had like 120 and 130, and he had two tutties. He was obviously a mismatch all night for Calvary Baptist. But I get it. They had to give Elijah Haven the MVP honors. But you know how it goes with the politics and things of that nature. And then the other game with Riverside and Ascension Catholic, Coach Lee Roussel, the head coach for Riverside, he did a good job with just having that team well prepared, bro. They was in the state championship the year before last, and they lost. They lost in the semis last year, and he got Riverside their first state championship since 2016. So, and he got a young team. He only had five seniors. So kudos to Coach Lee and that Riverside team. They had a really good game plan, and they stopped the state's lead rusher in I think his name is Trevor Simon for Ascension Catholic. Kid who had over 3,000 yards this season and 30 plus touchdowns. So
Yeah.
they had a good game plan against Ascension Catholic. So like I say, kudos to Riverside. And the game before that was Haynesville, and I'm having a brain for it, but it was a shootout. Haynesville won that game 39-37.
Damn.
So some really good games on yesterday, and then today we got a triple header, and then tomorrow is the double header with Ouachita, Christian, Ruston, and then you got the nightcap with St. Aug and Carr. That's where everybody and mama gonna be in the building to see. So
Yeah.
excited about this weekend, bro.
Can't leave us on a cliffhanger, bro. What did Coach O have to say? What was his reaction to the hire?
Uh, I'm gonna give you the rated G version.
All right, the rated G. Let's hear it.
He think Lane Kiffin is gonna knock it out the park.
I like it. And I feel like they got some good relationship. They got a good connection. If anybody's going to have a good amount of confidence in their guy, it's going to be Coach O. And then also, I feel like Coach O's kind of, I'm not saying he sweetened it up to get into the building, but I think Ed would want to return home, a little homecoming for Edo. I mean, look, with the D-line coach search going on, bro, anything's possible at this point. Because we talked about Elijah Robinson a lot this week. G, the rumors are circling this morning that he is denying the LSU job and that he will send them into a restart, if you will, for a coaching search. I'll double down on what I said about Chris Kiffin. I got two reasons for it why. You're at a point now where I think most of the defensive staff that's retained is going to be able to carry over the scheme. You're still going to have that continuity, if you will. So this hire, I'm not going to say it's not a big deal. It is always a big deal for trenches. That's one of the most important pieces of your defensive attack. However, I will say that Blake Baker can ease the transition. So a guy like Chris Kiffin, who's been in the building, obviously, with Lane, who boarded the plane, G, with him when he left for Oxford. Then his son, Cookie, man, he's all over the place, bro. Cookie was at school with Lane Kiffin this morning, man, with the backpack in the facility, man. You know what I'm saying? These are, I'm not going to say it's like subliminal messages he's sending, but there's always something with my guy. Then I got one more I'll throw out there for you. Coach Lou at Michigan. How you feel about that? We don't want to have to poach your guy, but there's no head coach. There's a situation. He might be, looking around maybe, but that's a reach. I think if I had to put any action on anything, it'd be Chris Kiffin. But what's your thoughts?
As it pertains to Chris Kiffin, I just think that you gotta be careful of bringing somebody in that doesn't have the expertise and the experience at that position, because like you just talked about, that's one of the most important positions on the field when you talk about the SEC, being able to control the line of scrimmage. Not saying that Kiffin can't end up being a good coach. I just wonder when you're trying to get guys from the portal, when you got somebody like Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown coming in, and the guys that's returning, how much respect he's gonna have in the room when he's trying to teach them different techniques and watching film with them and things of that nature. We living in a different generation, bro. These kids it's all about what you've done and who you are. And I think Lane better think about that. And I understand, that's family, but you got to do what's best for the program and do what's best for that D line room.
Yep.
And I don't know if hiring his family would be the best decision.
So you're saying like from a wanting to be like a Kyle Williams. I mean, he was in that role. He was at LSU. He was playing in the NFL. He's somebody that they can look up to in that regard. That's the experience you're talking about, the playing on the field experience, actually doing it, or the coaching side. Because I mean, he did D-line coach at the NFL and at Ole Miss, but like you're talking about in the pads, in the trenches, being in your spot.
No. So how long has he been coaching?
All right, so dating back to 2005 is when he started as an assistant. He got the D-line coach job at Arkansas State. He was a D-line coach at Ole Miss, and he was a D-line coach for the Cleveland Browns. So, I mean, he's got some years under his belt. I'd say about 8.
How long total was he the D-line coach with the Browns and Ole Miss?
3 years with the Browns, 2020 to 2022. So 3 seasons, 20, 21, 22. And then Ole Miss, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 8 years between those two schools. He was also the defensive recruiting coordinator too. So
now see, I didn't think he had 8 years of D-line experience. I must have when I did my research on him, I'm thinking he had about 3-4 years of experience coaching D-line. So that kind of changes my perspective. 8 years, especially between the NFL and coaching in the SEC at Ole Miss, might not be a bad hire. Okay,
and he got
I can't believe I let that get over my head right there. I could have sworn when I looked it up. I thought he only had like 3 years of experience coaching D-line. But
yeah, I think it was 3 in the NFL. But I think like the initial reaction whenever everybody, and I'm not saying this is true, this is rumors, and Lane Kiffin dispelled them in his press conference, but he also wouldn't confirm these either. But there was the ultimatum of if you don't get on this plane right now, you're not going to have a job. Now, I don't know if that's true, but bro, he was on that plane right away. Obviously, that's his brother. You never know. It's just moral support. It's a big moment. You want to be there for your family, so we might not read in between it too hard. But man, if he's taking that trip, he probably wants to be in the building. So if it's not going to be in that role, I'm just wondering, especially, I'm not trying to say his son being there all the time is an interesting factor, but I mean, it's something. It is definitely something.
Yeah, I mean, Lane gonna do what he want to do, bro. He's not gonna do things the traditional way, and I think that's what makes him unique. I think that's what makes people gravitate toward him. And I know we're gonna get into this in a little bit about him getting on Twitter, responding to one of the biggest supporters of the Michigan program, right? So that's just how he does things, and that's how he's gonna continue to keep not only him but this LSU program on the forefront of the newspaper, of ESPN, of social media. That's part of the reason why they made a big deal about getting him to Baton Rouge.
Definitely the most active coach I've ever seen on social media. I'll give him credit. Look, he in the building early, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sleeping and he's working. So there's that hat tip to him. But man,
well, he ain't drinking no more, so he it's a little easier for him to get up at the crack of dawn, bro.
I might have to go pop out to a yoga studio.
Yeah, when you didn't drink a little scotch the night before, a little Hennessy, or whatever his choice of drink, right? When that alarm goes off, you a little more sluggish.
Yeah.
So him being sober over the last, I think he said 5 years, something like that.
It's been a while. Damn near the whole time at Ole Miss.
Yeah, he probably bouncing up in the morning when he hit that alarm. He ain't hitting the snooze button or nothing.
He like the Undertaker, just sitting straight up, bro.
For sure.
Let's switch to the other side of the trenches. We were talking D-line. Let's talk O-line. They are set to make a hire. Eric Walford. I'm putting the air quotes around a G just in case. I don't want to have another Elijah Robinson last minute. I'm good. Here's a brief history on our guy Walford. So, yeah, you see him in the Kentucky drip. He was Alabama's O-line coach for Nick Saban in the final year. And our guy, Coach Saban's 17th season. There are mixed opinions on this, though. I looked at it on Twitter. I saw people kind of not laughing at the hire, but just wondering about the legitimacy of it, especially with LSU, because you're in a very, very, very big spot here, replacing somebody like Brad Davis. Now, obviously, he didn't get a good rap this year with the way that the offensive line was, but through the last few years, excluding this one, when you've had Will Campbell, when you've had Emory Jones and those big pieces, Garrett Dellingers, Miles Frazier's, yada, 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 they had success. And he did develop some talent. Now, was it just because Will and Emory were generational? I don't know. But I'm not going to discredit him and take that away. I feel like you're in a spot where Lane Kiffin obviously is offensive mind. You're going to need offensive line in the 5-man front to be a lot better than what they were this year to establish a run, to help that establish the pass game. Like there's just a non-negotiable that the trenches have to improve. So it's interesting that you make this hire because I give you a next gen stat, G. Alabama's school record for the most sacks allowed came when Walford was their offensive line coach. So it's not a backbreaker. There's a lot of things that go into it. Maybe it's personnel, maybe it's a scheme, maybe my guy Nick Saban was just getting tired. But all in all, I'm going to double down on it. You definitely needed to get a big hire for this position. You got a 2-year deal being rumored around $900K a year. Do you think that this is an improvement from what happened and what we have right now?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Anybody that Lane Kiffin hand picks on the offensive side of the ball, I'm rolling with it.
Yep. Okay.
That's just my thought process, and that's my mindset, bro. I don't question Lane Kiffin when it comes to evaluation of players, and I damn sure don't question him when he goes and picks a coach to be on his staff. If he thinks Walford is the guy for the job, I believe him, bro. I don't think Lane Kiffin is out there just picking guys because of what he coached at or the experience or anything of that nature. I think he's picking guys, especially on the offensive side of the ball, because he thinks they are what he needs for his program and for his offense to run the way he wants them to run. So if he got this guy Walford coming in as his O-line coach, I think this guy's gonna be a great fit for LSU. And I really think people that understand Lane Kiffin and what he's done in the past and all his stops, when you talk about Florida Atlantic, when you talk about when he was at Tennessee that little 1 year, when he left in the middle of the night, USC, right, Ole Miss, he's going to make sure that he has the right type of guys on that side of the ball when you talk about coaches. So I'm a roll with it. I'm not really familiar with him, but I trust Lane's opinion when you talk about coaches.
The eye test, the Lane Kiffin eye test don't fail, huh? I'll go in that group of thought as well, especially with a position group like this, the offensive line. I'm not going to say it was one of the worst position groups, but it definitely didn't look like the best, put it that way. A lot of turnaround, lost 4 of your 5 starters. The only starter that returned was your 6th man and your next man up and DJ Chester. So, I mean, look, you had to expect that it would be a long year for LSU. Hopefully it starts to get better. The graphic on the right, G, our guy Caleb Jackson this morning, per Hayes Fawcett, enters the transfer portal. I'll say not really a surprise. Respectfully, since the freshman year, I think it's just been a decline. If you look at the statistics, he only had 16 yards all year, G. 10 of them came on 1 rush alone in his entire career at 3 years, 331 total yards. Since the freshman year, only 166 yards. Now, a lot of things are happening. You got injuries, you got opportunities shrinking up. Shit, you got Caden Durham and Harlan Berry in the room. So, like, it's a competitive field. I'm just curious on what you think about this move, this decision, maybe where you see him going. And I mean, look, hopefully he does hit his potential because I ain't gonna lie. After that first year, after seeing him run through people at Miss State and just those big time runs, I had a lot of hope for him. And I'm not going to say that the hope is gone. I think you could still reach the potential, but it'll all go back to what we always harp on, the situation. So what do you think would be his best situation? And do you think this was a good move?
Definitely saw this coming. Kudos to Caleb Jackson, bro. He gave it 3 years. It didn't work out. I think a change of scenery is going to be really good for him. I do think he could be a solid back for somebody. One of the things that was rumored about him, especially dating back to last year, because we thought he was going to be the guy, was he came in the fall camp not in shape, and I thought that hurt him on last season and being one of the lead backs. So, and then when you had somebody like Harlan Berry come in, and the way Caden Durham took the Bulls by the horn his freshman year, you knew that was going to be the 1-2 punch this season. And Caleb Jackson was the odd man out. So hopefully he finds a good destination, bro, and go into a situation where he can get the carries and be the back that we think he could be. And I still think that kid could be a draft pick one day. I really do.
Yep. Let's go to the comments real quick. We got someone asking us a question. Alexander Taylor, thoughts on taking Boo Carter? So Boo Carter entering the transfer portal. Talking about him being at the star position. G, can we get a reaction? That's a Tennessee DB.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that would be somebody that Olsen and Corey Raymond would want to bring in. Um, when you talk about the star position, right? You think about somebody that has a ton of versatility, and I know that when you think about Harold Perkins, right? His career didn't go as planned, right? We thought he was going to be a guy that was going to probably be a Buckets Award finalist, somebody that's going to be a first round pick at the latest, second round pick. Um, I think somebody that they need to go after when you talk about for that star position, right? It needs to be somebody that can play mostly the safety position. That's just my personal opinion, and the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say that it has to be somebody that can come down and make tackles, but also if you want to play a one deep high look, right, you could put him in that position too. I don't know if Boo Carter could do that, right? Good player, really good player for Tennessee, but I don't think that is his skill set. And I've had these conversations with Blake, and Coach Olsen before about the star position and what the expectations is for that particular position. And I just don't know if Boo Carter would fit what they're looking for, right? Not saying they wouldn't still take a look at it, right? But I don't know if that would be ideal for the way they want to run that defense with that star position.
I feel like that kind of goes underrated. I had some people talk to me also about like the Sean Spears and well, why isn't he on the field and things of that nature? Well, gee, I mean, we know it better than most, but Blake Baker is not doing a three safety scheme all the time. It's not easy to just be able to throw out who most people would think are the best players. Sometimes you're gonna have to just fit to the matchups, fit to the personnel on the other side of the ball. I mean, not trying to say it's not like CFB because I'm sure you got some simulations to the video game, but you got cheesers out here, G, running the same three plays on defense over and over and over and over and over, and they ain't just that simple, man.
Right.
A lot of these
Because when you
lines just
think
break
about
down.
when Harold Perkins got hurt last year, right? Who they moved to the star position? Major Burns.
Yep.
And this ain't no disrespect to Major Burns. I thought he did good considering his skill set. He was a guy that could come down and make tackles, right? But if you try to put him at a one deep high safety, or you try to put him in a deep third situation, that wasn't to his skill set. That wasn't his strong suit. And I think if you go when you get somebody to that start position, you need somebody that can come down and make tackles in the box and also be able to play in the deep thirds of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And Harold Perkins wasn't somebody you was going to do with that, right? But he was somebody you could bring down and make tackles in the box and stuff like that, and cover tight ends, right? I just think that going forward, the way Blake and Coach Olsen has been talking, they want somebody like I just talked about. They want somebody that could come down and make tackles in the box if need be, and also be able to put them one deep high over the top and have that range. So I think that's what you're gonna see um, going forward at that position.
And once again, like I'm gonna use your logic for the Lane Kiffin thing. And Blake Baker, we trust, dude. Come on. You've been on a damn run. I mean, I'm gonna respond to this to our guy Hanville07. Hanville, this is an interesting comment. He said Caleb needs to come back. He could be great in Kiffin's offense. I'd trade Caden Durham for Caleb. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Hold on, hold on. Look, all right. I'm gonna make a comparison, and then I'll let you respond. I'm not saying that Caden Durham and Kawan Lacey have a very similar skill set, but I will say that Logan Diggs and Caleb Jackson did. And it's not going to translate exactly the same, but I think Lacey was used in a lot more hybrid fashion because there's something to be able to have a satellite back that you could throw a ball to or a screen to or do whatever. I mean, yeah, I'll compare it to Josh Williams. With Josh Williams, I don't think it mattered if you needed him to pass block, run up the middle, run outside, whatever, catch a pass. He could do it all. And with that being said, I feel like you're not handcuffed. You're not having to call timeouts and get a new personnel out there. I like Caden Durham. I think he's all around a great player. He's not just a specialist in one area. I wouldn't like this one right here.
I think that Caleb Jackson has to go to a certain type of scheme. I don't think the way Lane Kiffin uses his backs will highlight what Caleb does well. I think Caleb needs to be in a situation where he can have a hip or sometimes a fullback in front of him where he can run lead, power. That's more his skill set, right? You know, Lane likes to get his guys on the perimeter for the most part. And I don't think that's a strong suit for Caleb. So and like I said, man, I mean, every situation is different. The way people like to use their backs and the blocking schemes is different. So I just think he'll be better off if he goes somewhere else that fits his skill set and fits what he does well. When you look at him when you look at him when he came out of high school at Liberty, right? That's what he did, bro. Running lead, running power. You know, when they had a hip and things that people pulling, like that's when Caleb Jackson was at his best, bro. So I think that change of scenery is gonna do him wonders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this too from a tempo standpoint. It might be tough to keep a big back out there, man. Come on, you're gonna be doing a lot of running. Gonna be doing a lot of sprinting. G. We ain't taking no breathers in between plays, dog. We getting right back to it. Tempo. Let's see. We've got some more people in the chat, man. Joey Coco. Boo Carter is my guy. Stay off the CFB, bro. American Patriot, you guys have a great show. American Patriot, you're my favorite viewer, bro. Every time you're in the chat, man, I already know it's something, whether it be ruffling, feathers, compliments. I'll take it all, man.
American Patriot is very controversial.
American Patriot is polarized, man. He like the Stephen A of our comment section, dog. Oh, wait, he coming in with a good question. I wanted to save this one for later. Screw it. You want to know? We'll give it now. What do you think about Underwood coming to LSU? I don't want him here. A lot of people are saying this, G. I'm going to go out on a soapbox moment that a lot of people might not like to hear. Here's what I'll say. People are going to compare him. Not a lot of people, but I've seen the comparison to the Garrett Nussmeier statistics, right? That's not a fair comparison at all. One, Garrett Nussmeier's a fifth-year senior. Two, the weapons he had around him. Do I even need to start rattling them off? Everybody remembers them. He had a way different arsenal, if you will. But Bryce Underwood being at Michigan in the first year, I didn't think he had a horrible season. I mean, he had less picks than Garrett Nussmeier, and he played like almost 3 times the games, over double the games. Garrett Nussmeier in 5 games had 5 picks. Bryce played, I believe, 10 to 11, only had 6 picks. Now, are they throwing the ball like LSU's throwing the ball? No. However, I will say this. Bryce Underwood will develop. He will get better, and I'm not falling off the train. People are upset because of the NIL, because of the flip. I don't think a lot of people in his shoes would have stayed put at LSU. G, I'll keep it at that. Larry Ellison had a bag, bro. Come on.
And if you watch Michigan football, which I do all the time because that is my squad, let make no mistake about it. Michigan ain't got no top tier receivers like that. Their best receiver was Marsh, a true freshman. That was their best receiver this year.
Yep.
So, and to be honest with you, man, the way Sherrone Moore was calling plays, it was predicated to run the ball. That's why I was really shocked that he wanted to flip to Michigan. You knew what this was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You get a specimen, a unicorn like Bryce Underwood under Lane Kiffin, Heisman Trophy.
National championship. Oh, look, I'm jumping the gun. Let me chill out. We got Coco in the chat asking for an update on Kawan Lacy. G, I know you saw the video, the filmed phone call. Have you heard about this yet? Yeah?
Yeah, I heard about it.
All right, so, I mean, I don't think we're going to get a decision on this, obviously, because his team is still actively fighting in the playoffs.
He'll be stupid to even put anything out about this.
Right. I think this is a focus moment. We can't let any rat poison in the building. You still got an opportunity here in front of you. But I would think it could happen. I mean, I've seen crazier stuff.
I'm going to tell you what a source, a reliable source told me about this situation.
All right.
Pete Golden has offered Kevin Smith the job, of course, to stay.
Yep.
And they supposedly are trying to get Kevin Smith to sway Lacy to stay put at Ole Miss. And they are supposed to make him, like, I think, the top 3 player as far as being NIL, being paid NIL.
Mm-hmm.
And John Summerall, from what I've heard, had offered Kevin Smith the job as well. And he is supposed to give him a large increase in salary. I'm talking about Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And they are supposed to up the antes even more than what Ole Miss is trying to pay Kawan Lacey. So that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Kevin Smith is trying to decide between Florida, Ole Miss, and LSU. And, you know, I could see Kawan Lacey still coming to LSU though. I really could. And the reason why I say that because you know what you're getting with Lane. You just played with him. So for you to go to Florida and go to the unknown, I think you're playing Russian roulette. Regardless if they can give you the most money, right? You got to be thinking long term, and you know what you're getting from Lane Kiffin, and you know how Lane Kiffin plan to use you. You was what? He was top 3 or top 2 in yards in the SEC,
Let's go check.
if I'm not mistaken.
He's definitely a damn baller. Now, what happens to Caden Durham and Harlem Berry?
3-headed monster.
Okay. So you don't think nobody's like, I'm out of here. We're going to be able to keep. I mean, I feel like you'd be crazy if an offensive player leaves before they get to see Lane Kiffin, man. That's what
look, when people say stuff like that about their running back position, and this is what I always tell them. Well, man, they got 2 running backs over there already. They already got a back over there already. Bro, you don't want to go play for a team where they running you in the ground.
Yeah,
you don't want to go play for a program that's going to give you the ball 25, 30 times a game because you ain't going to have nothing left for the league. You're going to have a lot of wear and tear on your body, and that's going to make the NFL, when they evaluate you, to give them a reason to pick you in the 4th round, to pick you in the 5th round, because they're going to say, man, he got a lot of wear and tear on his body. He touched the ball a lot in college. His body beat up. Man, go somewhere where you could share that backfield with 2 other guys, right? As long as you're getting about 10 to 12 touches a game, whether it's in the pass game or the running game, and you can showcase what you can do, the league gonna mess with you. And I think that's what I would be thinking about if I'm Harlem Berry, if I'm Caden Durham, and if I'm Kawan Lacey, because all 3 of them could benefit from playing with each other. And that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I like what Corey Raymond had said, bro, in terms of everybody's fixated on reps and snap count and how much I'm getting out there. But in reality, it's what you do at what you get. If you get 10 snaps, how are you performing with 10 snaps? If you get 50, how are you performing with 50? And to answer your question for where he was ranked, number 2 in the SEC in yards behind Ahmad Hardy, number 1 in the SEC in touchdowns. So, I mean, dude, look, he's a baller. He's averaging 5 yards per carry. And even if you go nationally, if you look at just the whole entire spectrum, he's number 9 in yards. And then when you look at touchdowns, he's number 2 in the country in touchdowns. So, I mean, look, a lot of production.
And we're talking about a true sophomore, too.
Yeah, and he didn't even play at Mizzou, bro.
But I think he played a little bit. I think he played a little bit.
Bro, shout out them, because I can't lie. Cody Schrader, Ahmad Hardy, they had him in there. Boy, Mizzou running backs are going crazy. Maybe that's where Caleb Jackson goes. Maybe. I don't know. Let's react to the schedule real quick, G. 2026, right? Tough schedule. It honestly might be, I'm not going to say one of the hardest one in years, but it's going to be competitive. So, hey, if there's any Notre Dame fans listening, this is what competition looks like. This is not a cupcake schedule, my guy. First glance, hardest games, I would say, are at home, A&M, Alabama, Texas. You're in Tiger Stadium. You might not win all of them, G, but guess what? Odds are in your favor, especially if you can get them in at night in Death Valley. I think Brian Kelly only lost, 2 games in Tiger Stadium? A&M, Alabama, some really tough matchups. Yeah, it was rough. It was horrible weather, horrible situation. The final one was a nail in the coffin, if you will. Look at November, though. It's a stretch. The chat's blocking it. Hold up. Boom. Bama, November 7th. Texas, November 14th. Then back-to-back road games. Tennessee, Arkansas. The nailing one will be interesting because it's a little bit of emotion, obviously. Tennessee's not a big Lane Kiffin fan, but look at the elephant in the room, G. September 19th, week 3, the first SEC game that Lane Kiffin will coach as LSU's head coach. He's going back to Oxford, bro. That's going to be cinema. I know everybody's going to be circling that. I think, man, you might have to make him call plays in the booth, man. I don't know. Going to have to put him in a damn bubble or something because it would be raining beer, cups. Look, whatever you do when they sell beer in that stadium, they're going to have like open red Solo cups. So when you throw it, everything comes out and you're not going to be able to hit my guy because it'll get grimy. I'm expecting an interesting reaction. All in all, though, I think they go best case scenario, and everybody's going to be pissed to hear this, 9-3. I mean, look at this, bro. You're playing Ole Miss, A&M, Bama. You do get Auburn away, which is interesting. You might want to just pay attention to that one. It's not exactly a tough game, but they could be a sleeper. They had an all right All right season. Then Bama, Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas is kind of an interesting sleeper. I can't lie. Either 9-3 or 8-4 is what I'm thinking. My premature knee jerk reaction. G, what's yours?
Yeah, it's hard for me to give a prediction on what the record gonna be because we just don't know how this roster gonna look come come August going into fall camp. We're a long way away from that. We don't know who the quarterback gonna be. We don't know who the
I don't even
receivers
know the
gonna
damn D
be.
line coach.
Yeah, it's a lot of shaking and moving that's gonna happen before they get ready to play that week one game. So, um, but I think that schedule is favorable for Lane in year one. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I mean, Tennessee on the road gonna be tough. To me, I think that's gonna be the toughest one as far as on the road.
Okay.
So out of all your games on the road, you only got one that I look at that's gonna be tough to go in and win. And that's no disrespect to Ole Miss and Auburn, but I just don't think Ole Miss gonna be the same. I love Pete Golden. I think I'm rooting for him. I hope he do a hell of a job at Ole Miss, but I don't think it's gonna be the same with Lane Gone. I just don't see it.
Right.
Auburn. I know Alex Golish did a hell of a job at South Florida, but I don't know what they expect from him. So I'm
Hmm.
not going. I know Auburn is loud and rowdy, but I don't know how good they're gonna be next year. It's hard for me to see. So I'm looking at the Tennessee game as the only one on that schedule as of right now that I look at and say it's gonna be extremely tough to go in there and win.
I agree with our guys, American Patriot and Coco. They talking about college game day, week 3, lock. Come on,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Get ready to learn
that's a
Pat
lot.
McAfee.
Yeah, that's a
Get
lot.
ready to learn Pat McAfee, buddy. BK Jones, toughest games at home, did Lane a favor. Yeah, look, it could have been a lot worse because if you were traveling to Bama, traveling to Texas, traveling to A&M, I get a lot more grimy.
He went
Ah.
to Georgia though.
Yeah, they did. They did. Hats off. Hats off.
Should have won. Should have won that game.
Let's talk about this real quick before we get out of here. Dun, dun, dun. This might be the craziest situation I've ever seen in college football. Long story short, if you're living under a rock, I'll briefly summarize it. Had a relationship with a staffer, gave her a raise, got caught. She got fired. She gave proof of the relationship. Now he's fired. One thing led to another, allegedly. And then this morning, he gets officially charged by the state of Michigan. So, G, what's going on here? Please break this down to best of your abilities.
First of all, I'm gonna take a certain stance right here,
All right.
right? Because I was very disturbed by some of the things I was seeing from the African American community on social media when you talk about how people was making jokes saying that, oh my God, this guy is stupid. Oh my God, what was he thinking? And just a whole bunch of ignorant comments I was seeing. And my standpoint to all of this is this. Okay, he cheated on his wife, right? Um, what a staffer. We know that's frowned upon. You're not supposed to do that. Got her pregnant, allegedly. And they say he got her have an abortion, allegedly. Get all of that. Made a mistake. Shouldn't have done it. We know that. For people to ridicule Sherrone Moore over what I just talked about as if he's not human, I just think it's just completely unfair. That's just my opinion. I'm not condoning what he did, but I'm just saying he's human. It happened. He made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I give Sherrone Moore grief about is him breaking in a girl's house, putting a knife to his neck, saying he gonna kill him and her, and just really crashing out.
Yeah.
That's really the only part that I see that I was disappointed about.
Mm-hmm.
The other stuff, man, we gotta stop. We gotta stop and act like we ain't got no skeletons in our closet. Because I guarantee you, everybody walking the face of this earth, especially when you've lived this life for 39 years like he has, I promise you, you've made a ton of mistakes that you probably wish you could come back for, that you regret, and mistakes that you probably nobody know about. That's the only thing I give him flack about, bro. Him breaking in the girl house and pulling out a knife saying he gonna kill him and her.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing, right? Again, because we know we got people that got bad understanding and got bad comprehension. I'm not condoning him cheating on his wife. I'm not condoning him getting a girl pregnant and getting her to have an abortion. I'm not condoning that at all. He was wrong, right? But I'm not gonna sit here and say that he shouldn't get another job, or man, he is a disgrace to the black community and black coaches that's in his profession. I'm not gonna go that far. Had he not gone to the girl's house and put a knife to his neck and said he was gonna kill him and her, I would give this man a second chance. I really would. But when he went as far as he did after he got fired, I think that's what completely went. That's what I think it got completely out of hand. I think that um he had a moment where he sort of felt like the sky was falling,
Mhm.
right? And he made a bad decision. Um, I know some guys on that Michigan staff like Coach Bellamy, right, from New Orleans, graduated from Shaw, right. Lamar Morgan, the defensive coordinator, right, was the uh, played at the University of Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns, right. I know him, and I know one of the players on the team, Caleb Anderson. He also played at the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns, right there from East Feliciana, and these guys have nothing but great things to say about Sherrone Moore. I think he made a bad decision. I really do. But the part about him going to the girl's house and threatening her to say he's gonna kill him and her, that's the only part I give him flack about. All other stuff, man, people gotta stop saying that making the ignorant comments that they making.
Yeah, this situation definitely reminds me of unfortunate permanent. I'm not gonna say solution, but permanent result for a temporary emotion. I didn't even. I was like, oh my lord. Whenever I first saw the tweet, I didn't think it was real. So I was kind of just sitting back, like, And then as the situations developed, it's
Bro,
interesting.
had he just took his firing like a man and just took his lick, bro, he would have got another job. It
Yeah,
probably wouldn't
completely
have been in
different
a Power
situation.
Four school. It probably would have been at like a D1 AA or maybe like a Mountain West school or something like that. And he would have to build his character up and prove that he has changed and he's a better decision maker, right?
Mhm.
And then probably maybe 4 or 5 years, he probably would have got another opportunity to go to a big school. I really believe that. I just think the aftermath after he got fired, him going to her house, that's what really put the nail in the coffin for him.
Yep. No, I agree. Before we get out of here, I got Honda 07 dropping a question in the chat. Chances of Lane flipping Easton Royal. He's a 2027 wide receiver. I believe he's committed to Texas right now. I'm going to read you some of his statistics from the junior year. 57 catches, 1,300 yards, 19 touchdowns. Buddy, he's getting some carries too out of the backfield. 18 carries, 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. Then he's doing special teams, G. He got 4 touchdowns on returns. Last but not least, wait. We're not finished. Buddy has a passing touchdown. So if you add it all up, he's got damn near 40 touchdowns. Come on, G. This is an insane kid.
We 2 years away, right? It's a lot of time. I think Eastern Royal made an emotional decision, especially that was after they had just upset Texas A&M. He
Mm-hmm.
committed the next day. You know how this go, bro.
Yeah.
Kids make emotional decisions all the time.
Like choosing keys.
But yeah, but I will say this: they better be careful because if Jabal Jaluk or Frank Wilson gets that job, that running back job at Texas, being that Eastern Royal is from New Orleans, Lane Kiffin and LSU could have a battle on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna be honest, right? Because I'm hearing that Salk has offered or trying to offer Jabbar Jalou, who's the running back coach at Florida, and he's trying to offer Frank Wilson the job. So, which is smart by Salk, right? Like
Yep.
let me get a pipeline into Louisiana and get some more kids
Let's
because he
go.
already got. I think he got about 4 or 5 kids on his roster right now from Louisiana,
Yep.
right? Speaking of that, Derek Williams, the safety, is in the transfer portal from Texas. I think that he is somebody that LSU should definitely try to go after.
Let me see. I'm gonna look up his statistics. So would he be more like an AJ Halsey? Would he be more like a Tamarcus Cooley? Where would we utilize him in this
Man, I'm gonna be
scheme?
honest with you, bro. I think Derek Williams could be like he could play that strong safety role like Tamarcus Cooley.
Okay.
He tore his ACL last year, right? I think it tore his ACL like in the middle of the season. So I think this year he wasn't all the way himself. So he played this year, but he didn't play a whole lot. His freshman year, he played a lot.
Yeah,
And he balled out. He
he
balled
did.
out. Let me tell you something, bro. Derek Williams is one of the best. I'm gonna say, yeah, he's definitely one of the best safeties I've ever evaluated in person.
He had,
Coming out of high school, bro. Like he was phenomenal. He was that guy, bro. Like he will come down and hit you. He got ball skills. He could run. He athletic. He got a mindset. He had a lot of versatility in high school. He played receiver, played quarterback, played strong safety, played one deep high, free safety. Like he a dude, bro. He a dude.
fully
He was on that
tackle.
Westgate team that upset it at Nicole. Matter of fact, he scored the go ahead touchdown to win that game. And then they went on to the state championship to play Warren Easton, and they upset at Warren Easton. So I think, going into this spring and going into next year, he's gonna be 100% himself. I really feel like LSU should be knocking down his door to try to get Derek Williams. I really do.
I agree. Got some people in the chat, man, same people saying I don't want Underwood here are the same people that didn't want Jaden Daniels here. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, it happens, man. Look, they're gonna be changing up at the last minute. I ain't gonna lie. Indy still crying like babies. Of course they are, bro. Of course they are. Welcome to Notre Dame. All right, G. We're about to get out of here. Answer Damon's question. Are you a head coach? Give us an update. How's the squad doing? Yes, he's a head coach, man.
Yeah, I'm a head coach of Thibodeau Middle School basketball, and we're currently 15-0.
Come on. Come on. When's the next game?
Monday. We
Against?
St. James.
Ooh.
We just beat Raceland Middle School 77-9, bro.
What? How did that work out? Did they have 3 players? They had a full roster?
Bro, we hitting all cylinders right now. I got a good group. God just keep blessing me with good groups.
Brother, that's 3 3-pointers in the whole game.
Player-led program.
Come on.
Player-led.
Hey, winners win, bro. Let's get it. All right, about to check out of here. Appreciate your time, G. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Houndville, thank you for the 5 bomb. Hit that thumbs up. We're out of here. It's going to be the weekend, man. We don't got no football, bro. We're just going to have to sit back and relax. We'll be back Monday. It is what it is, though. Enjoy that state championship game. Hopefully, we get some fireworks. I'm sure we will, though. Later, y'all.